in the beginning that in the actual interview board there will be 3 members.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So not one single member.
Yes.
There will be a chairman and there will be 2 experts.
Correct.
Experts are generally from outside. They are not employees of OPSC. ना ସେମାନେ OPSC रो କିଛି ନୁହନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ ବାହାରୁ ଡକାଯାଏ रिक्वेस्ट କରି ଡକାଯାଏ ଏବଂ ଦେ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ ଦି ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ତେଣୁ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଫିଲ୍ଡରୁ ଆସନ୍ତି ସ୍ପେଶାଲି ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ IRS ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ IAS ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ IPS ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ IFS ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଫରେଷ୍ଟ ସର୍ଭିସ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଫରେନ୍ ସର୍ଭିସ ଏମାନେ ସବୁ ଆସନ୍ତି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ ବ୍ୟୁରୋକ୍ରାଟ୍ସ they are, and apart from that some subject experts are also there, especially psychology. Psychology ର ଜଣେ ଜଣେ ବି ବସନ୍ତି ହେଲା ଏବଂ 3 ଜଣ ବସିବେ ମଝିରେ ଯିଏ ବସିବେ ସେ ହେଲେ ଚେୟାରମ୍ୟାନ୍ and he is a member of OPSC. OPS ର 5 ଜଣ ଖଣ୍ଡେ ମେମ୍ବର ଅଛନ୍ତି 5 କି 6 କେତେ ମେମ୍ବର ଜାଣିଛ 5ଟା ପ୍ଲସ୍ ବୋଧେ chairman and 5 members are there, perhaps check off, I am not very sure. So 5 members, there will be 5 votes.
Yes.
And each member or maybe the chairman will be the chairman of a particular board. Yes. So they have constituted 5 votes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the interview will be initiated by the chairman.
Yes.
Then other 2 members. Have you appeared earlier?
No sir, only mock interviews.
Only mock. Actual interview 3. No boards will be there, so you will not be able to know who is the member.
Okay.
Unless you have known him earlier, unless you know him or recognize by face, you will not be able to know the name. Okay, so no name will be there. Then they will start, and the total interview period is maximum 20 minutes, yes. Not more than 20 minutes. So each member will ask for 5 to 6 minutes, 6-7 minutes maximum. So questions and your answers. Total will be 6 to 7 minutes per member, and total 20 minutes, maximum 25 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. And let me tell you, first of all, this is not a test of knowledge. You should keep in mind, it's not a test of knowledge. And I don't know, some members they ask questions like who is the President of India? In my opinion, there is no need, because that knowledge has been tested in preliminary examination, in main examination. So it is not knowledge test, but sometimes they ask because to put you under mental pressure.
Yes.
So if 2-3 questions you are not able to ask, so if there is a possibility that you will be depressed.
Yes, yes, I got it.
So they will test your drive, whether you are performing under pressure or not. So it is a psychological test basically. Okay, and this is called personality test. And personality traits, the board is asked by the OPSC to ascertain the traits of the candidate. What are the traits of personality? According to them, it is intellect. Intellect means personal, fundamental knowledge. Knowledge about basic things,
Yes.
not going in deep into that. Then there is initiative, whether you are in a position to take initiative. Then drive, integrity. And one more is there, I'm just forgetting, I will tell you. So these are the qualities. Very difficult to ascertain somebody's integrity within 20 minutes. Honesty, integrity, can it be ascertained within 20 minutes?
No, sir.
So it requires working with a person for quite a long time,
Yes.
to ascertain whether he is honest or not. Because honesty in 20 minutes will not. So initiative, drive, so these are not ascertainable within 20 minutes. So the board is asked to do an impossible thing, to judge the personality of a person within a short period.
Yes.
So one person, I remember, one of my juniors, he appeared in UPSC interview for the first time, secured 210, second time 105. So how the personality could be reduced to half? So it is just a test like any other test, and lot of chances are involved. If they ask you questions which you know by chance, then definitely your confidence will grow.
Correct.
So you will be able to answer questions in a confident manner, in a smart manner. Otherwise, some depression will be there that I am not unable to answer the question. Okay. So after this, so let me tell you, let me ask you certain questions to know your opinion about various things. You studied your high school certificate examination in which school?
Mubarakpur High School. Mubarakpur High School. It's a high school nearby.
No, some high school. Mubarakpur.
Mubarakpur.
Mubarakpur. Why it is called Mubarakpur?
The name
place
of
name.
the name of the village.
Name of the place is Mubarakpur.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Mubarak. Where is it located?
So it's
Bhandari Pukhari, Bhadrak.
correct, correct.
Acha, acha. There are how many blocks in Bhadrak district?
It's 7.
7 blocks.
Yes,
Okay, okay. So you 2012.
correct.
But you have not mentioned the subjects which you studied
So
in HSC.
they have asked to mention the subjects post 12th only.
Hmm?
The form in the form it is asked for to mention the subjects post.
Only in higher studies.
Yes, yes.
Not in lower grades.
No, sir.
Okay, okay.
The
No
upper
problem.
part there is mentioned.
Okay, then you studied in
Upendranath College.
Upendranath. Okay, Upendranath College, Soro.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Who is Upendranath?
So he was an educationist of that area. He was an educationist.
Educationist.
Yes.
Acha.
So
Was he himself a
establishment-
teacher or headmaster or lecturer? No.
There is not much information about
What is his full name?
Upendranath Pradhan.
Upendranath Pradhan.
Yes, sir.
Acha. He belonged to Soro.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So he had established many colleges and schools as well.
It is Upendranath College. There science, commerce, arts, all subjects are there.
Correct, correct.
Okay, okay. Then you did your BTech honors.
Yes, sir.
In BTech there is honors also.
Yes, they have introduced honors.
They have introduced earlier. It was not there.
No, sir.
Okay, okay.
It was introduced in my year only.
No, Acha, you completed in 2019.
Correct.
IGIT Sarang. What is this IGIT?
So Indira Gandhi Institute of Technology.
Who is Indira Gandhi? Can you
The
tell a
former
few
prime-
sentences?
The former Prime Minister of India.
Former Prime Minister of India. Okay.
So she has been Prime Minister for two 3 periods, starting from 1967 to 1976, 7. Thereafter, another stint from 1980 to 1984 until she was assassinated.
Achha. So, as an administrator, how was she?
She had brought many reforms. She was inclined towards the value of socialism. She did nationalization of banks.
During her period, India fought a very significant war.
Correct.
What is that called?
Bangladesh Liberation War, 1971.
1970. What happened? Who won in that war?
So India won and
India won.
helped Bangladesh make an independent state from the Pakistan.
Achha, who has given the slogan Garibi Hatao?
Indira Gandhi. only.
Indira Gandhi.
Yes.
So, and another program also. How many points program?
So I think 20 point.
20-point program. Okay. There was an emergency also.
Yes.
For which she was blamed like anything. Jayaprakash Narayan movement was there. When was this emergency declared and what sort of emergency was this?
So it was a national emergency.
National emergency.
citing
Under which article of the constitution?
Article 352,
352. Okay.
citing internal rebellion. And so yes.
So how long
in
it continued?
1975. Yes, sir.
How long it continued? The emergency, national emergency continued
So for
for
around
how many years?
2 years.
2 years. Achha. Then it was lifted.
Yes, sir.
Then which government came into power?
The Janta government.
Janta government came.
by
Who became
Sri
the
Morarji-
Prime Minister?
Sri Morarji Desai.
Morarji Desai. Okay. Achha, you have studied extractive metallurgy. Is there any other subject called metallurgy only? Only metallurgy?
No, sir. I've tried to mention 3 important parts.
No,
of
achha, subject only.
Yes.
So subject's name is extractive metallurgy. What's the name of
It's
the
actually
subject?
a broader thing.
No, what is the name of this subject you studied?
So there are non-ferrous metallurgy, ferrous metallurgy. So
So
extraction of-
you did your BTech in metallurgy itself,
correct.
not
metallurgy.
extractive metallurgy
No,
only.
sir.
Okay.
But they have asked the subject. So I have.
But there is a subject called extractive
There are
metallurgy.
3-4 subjects under extractive metallurgy itself. Like
Achha, what is this extractive metallurgy?
so it basically deals with the extraction of metals such as steel, iron, copper, zinc, gold.
Only metals.
Yes.
Okay. Not other minerals.
No, sir. We studied.
You deal with only metals.
Correct.
Okay. Then material science. What is material science?
So the metallurgy part deals with the extraction of it, and the material science part of it deals with the research part. For example, we extracted steel in the first part, and for example, we laid down some rail tracks. But then, how effective it is, how much corrosion resistant it is, the properties. then we research it in the material science part. So that
Acha, that means you want to say that in material science, you study the properties of the metal.
correct.
Then
The properties of the materials. So basically, it's a
properties
research
of the
part.
material.
Yes.
And in your case, it is metal only.
Yes, sir.
Because metallurgy doesn't deal with any other minerals.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then nanotechnology. I don't know anything about nano. So you define what is nanotechnology.
So, nano is basically a dimension. It refers to dimension which is equivalent to 10 to the power minus 9 meter.
10 to the power minus
9 meter.
9 meter.
Yes, sir.
Acha.
So basically, if we divide a meter into 10
So
to the power
what is
9,
how many part of a meter?
so 10 to the power 9 parts of a meter.
That means what?
So it's very small part.
Very
It's
acha.
invisible.
Okay.
Yes.
So it is a very minuscule part.
Correct.
It is bigger than atom or
uh,
bigger than molecule?
not exactly sure.
Not exactly. Okay. So what is this nanotechnology? Studying small metal, very minuscule metals.
Yes.
Then what do you study?
So we first of all we analyze the properties of nanomaterials. For example, at nanoscale, the original materials change their properties physically, chemically, and optically. For example, gold. Gold is originally yellowish in color, but in nano stage, it is red. For example, carbon. Carbon is a non-conductor of electricity in original state, but at the nano level, it
Would
is.
you like to take tea?
No, thank you.
Okay. Tell me.
But in the nano stage, carbon is a good conductor of electricity. So this
At nano stage?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But originally it is not.
Originally it's not a good conductor.
Correct. So this change of properties, physical, chemical, and optical, how can that be used to build better things, which could be of good use to humanity?
But can you manufacture something by using nanomaterials?
Yes, sir.
But nano is not visible, no? So invisible things, what use it will be of?
Sir, it is not visible to the naked eye, but we can see it using microscopes.
But how it can make it useful?
Sir,
Things which are not visible, how it can be useful to me?
Sir, when we make appliances out of it.
I am a layman in nanotechnology.
Correct.
So if I ask any irrelevant question, kindly excuse me because I don't know.
So that's all right. I'm here to explain only.
Yeah.
So there are many applications already. For
You
example,
give me an example of
sir.
something where nanotechnology is used.
Okay, sir. So for example, let's consider about cancer treatment.
Cancer treatment, okay.
Usually we do chemotherapy, which is actually detrimental for the health. It destroys valuable parts of the body as well. But using nanotech, we could insert a very small nano robot sort of things, which can go and destroy the cancer cells and come back.
That is invisible robot.
Yes.
Okay.
That is invisible to the naked eye, but it will.
But it can be microscopic,
Yes,
you can see
it will
it.
simply do the surgery and take out only the cancer, only the defected cells, and not harm the others. It can also be an organic nano thing, which will not affect the body as well.
Okay. Okay, so what you have written in your hobby is sports, lot of things you have written. So, jack of all trades, master of.
Yes.
So, why don't write so many things? Okay. In the actual this biodata form, I forgot to tell you one thing. Here they are getting you filled up two forms, attestation and this, nor only this.
Yes. No.
ଏଠି ତମକୁ କ'ଣ fill up କରିବାକୁ କହୁଛି?
Attestation form and this here.
ଏଇ ଦିସଟା ଆଉ attestation ମଧ୍ୟ.
Yes, sir.
Attestation is totally useless so far as interview board is concerned.
Correct.
ହେଲା? Attestation form they will keep in their office for official purposes.
Yes.
But this is the only seat which will be before the interview board. So interview board will not get the attestation form. Because some prospective candidate was asking me yesterday that uncle, that attestation form also will be before the interview board. I said no.
So will they have the certificates as well, or only this form?
Only this form, nothing else.
So this is the
okay, yeah. A file will come with only one form.
Okay.
Supposing in the morning there are 10 candidates. So now there are 10 candidates here. Yes, so this thing have come, nothing. One seat only.
Alright,
okay, only one seat. And this is the only information available to the interview board about you. They don't know anything else.
Correct.
Okay. So naturally they will start asking questions from this initially.
Yes.
Then they will go to your subject. Maybe from general studies they will ask you something. Okay. So if you write so many things, then they will ask questions. Lot of questions will be asked, and you have to go deeper into that naturally because you have mentioned it as one of your hobbies. So write the C cricket. Cricket means you play cricket or
So playing and watching both.
playing and watching. So they will ask you about cricket, who won in T20, what is the status of India now, how cricket of India could be improved, how the game could be improved. Do you think there is politics in the game? Because Amit Shah's son is there.
Yes.
So why politicians should be appointed in sports boards? What is the need? Only sportsmen should be there because they know the sport very well. So in the cricket board, why non-cricket fellows should be there? Why politicians should be there? Then read novels. Novels means reading novels or writing novels?
Reading, sir.
Reading novels. What novels you have read in Odia?
So I haven't read any in Odia.
Achha. You read novels only in English.
I have done only reading only in English so far, but I'm planning to read in Odia as well.
No. Reading novels is your hobby.
Correct.
So what do you mean by hobby? Hobby means where you find special interest.
Yes.
You have special interest in novels. So what sort of novels? You are telling novels in English.
Yes.
So what novels you have read?
Okay.
Recently.
Recently, I read *Sapiens*. A novel called *Sapiens*.
Sapiens. Achha,
Yes.
okay. Who is written this?
Yuval Noah Harari is the author. Yuval Noah Harari
Achha,
is an
okay.
Israeli.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the theme of that novel?
So it deals with the evolution of mankind, evolution of the nature, history of it.
Homo sapiens.
Yes, sir.
I think not written by somebody, some known person.
Yes, sir. He
Who?
is a known person only.
Who?
Yuval Noah Harari.
Yuval. What was he doing? Which country he belongs to?
He's an historian.
Which country he belongs to?
He is from Israel, but I am not
Israel.
sure whether he's staying in the United States.
So that is the only novel you have read?
No, sir. Many others.
Good Earth you have read? Good Earth.
No, sir.
No. So you have not read any novels. Why to write novels? Because if somebody's hobby is reading novels, so he will go on reading several novels. Isn't it? Only one novel you have read and you are telling it is your hobby.
No, sir. I can tell many others.
Many novels.
Yes.
Okay. So if you can tell, then well and good. Because they will ask you.
Yes, sir.
Because they may be knowing. I don't know because I usually read Odia novels only or Hindi novels. Okay. But they may be knowing some of the members may be knowing. Okay. So then movies and series.
Yes.
Movies and series. Watching.
Planning to cut that part.
Oh, you kindly caught debate, reflective thinking.
Yes.
What is reflective thinking?
So it is a critical analysis of any event, personal and other things that is happening in day-to-day
How long
life.
you will take to make reflective thinking about somebody or about some issue?
Yes, sir. So
Reflective means what? It will be reflected in which media?
only, in my mind only.
Your mind will be reflected.
Correct.
That's a reflective thinking.
Yes.
So give me an example where you have thought something reflectively.
So it's a day-to-day thing only. For example, any event occurs, then when I'll be free in the day.
Event of national importance, international importance, or events concerning you only.
Sir, mostly concerned to me only because I can do reflection of my thing more appropriately. Other stuff as well, but especially mine.
Debates.
Correct.
What is the difference between debate and public speaking?
So in public speaking, basically we try to influence large number of people, but in debate, it's about putting out your opinion with respect to the opinion of the counterpart. So public speaking is
No. In debate, can you take both sides? Supposing whether.
no, sir.
Huh?
No, you will only stick to your opinion. Otherwise,
So you will take one side. So
Yes.
there will be a question.
Even if it's a
So
wrong
you have to. So there will be an issue. So you are supposed to speak in favor of the issue or against the issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Depends
And
on-
once you have decided to speak against the issue, you cannot speak again in favor.
No, sir.
Okay. In the same breath, you cannot speak in. So debate is an argument sort of thing.
Correct.
Arguing your point.
Yes.
You have a specific point and you have to argue. Public speaking is not like that.
Yes.
Public speaking is influencing the public, a larger mass.
Yes.
Here you have to influence only the judges.
Yes, correct.
Isn't it? ओके तो या तुम टे कमे दे पार जो थे फोकस कर भाव तुम कहीपर ना पढ़ जो थे देपर से रिफ्लेक्टिव थिंकिंग जो इज देयर एनी फिलोसोफर एनी साइकोलॉजिस्ट हु वाज डन रिसर्च ऑन रिफ्लेक्टिव थिंकिंग
Yes, there is a philosopher named John Dewey.
Dewey अच्छा
Yes, he is an US philosopher.
where from
United States.
So what he has reflected, what he has done, is a man of psychology or philosophy? Philosopher अच्छा अच्छा special recognition by AMO Odisha. ये AMO Odisha टी कौन?
AMO Odisha is an organization run by Sambada. Yes, sir.
Who is the editor of Sambad?
Sri Somranjan Patnaik.
Okay. AMO Odisha, there was a political party also called AMO Odisha.
Correct.
When was the political party formed?
Not sure, sir.
You are not aware. Okay. AMO Odisha basically is a social service organization.
Yes.
And they are concerned about blood donation basically.
Okay.
AMO Odisha. This is the charitable or social service wing of Sambad, Eastern Media Limited. Sambad is published by Eastern Media Limited.
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me who was the father-in-law of Mr. Somranjan Patnaik? Father-in-law?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'll
give you a clue.
I have read
His father-in-law was Chief Minister of Odisha for quite a long time. 2 terms. More than 2 terms.
Okay, so Sri Janaki Vallabh Patnaik.
Yes, of course. Patnaik, so Janaki Vallabh Patnaik. Okay. So who is called Grand Old Man of Odisha? Grand Old Man of Odisha.
If I'm not wrong, Sri Gopabandhu Das. Okay.
किसी जानना आजिकल पिला से गोपबंधु फोपबंधु कूल वृद्ध क्या कहते ग्रांड ओल्ड मैन ओडियार कौन हम कूल वृद्ध क्या
मधुसूदन दास
कौन से करते मधुसूदन दास what is his contribution to Odisha?
He was a prominent lawyer.
He was a prominent lawyer, correct?
So
he was the first barrister of Odisha.
Correct.
Yeah. So he is first in many respects.
Yes.
First graduate, first postgraduate, first bar at law, first lawyer. Then
so he worked
many
in
things
many
passed.
fronts. He worked in many fronts, including
What is contribution to Odisha? He was a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. So he enriched his knowledge or saved his clients by practicing law. Okay. But what is his contribution to Odisha?
Yes, so 2-3 aspects I'll tell you.
2-3 aspects.
One thing, he specifically worked for self-reliant industrialization.
Self-reliant
industrialization.
Correct. So what he did for that?
So he established a leather shoe factory.
Correct.
Yes.
What are these?
Then he also...
No, 2 factories are what? Have you heard the name of the factories?
I have...
And for manufacture of what?
I'm unable to recall it. I'm unable to recall it correctly right now.
Acha, you cannot. Say, he established Utkal Tannery. Utkal Tannery is making shoes.
Yes.
For the army. They were supplying shoes to the army. Full boots are there, no? They were supplying. Then he has, that is Utkal Tannery.
Yes.
Then he had also established another for development of the Tarakasikama of Cuttack. What is that called? Filigree works.
Yes.
Silver filigree works of Cuttack. So, दीटा से करते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Okay. अच्छा. आउ कौन करते हैं? आउ गोटे इम्पोर्टेंट काम से करते हैं. सबुठु इम्पोर्टेंट काम.
Worked for
unification of Odisha.
Correct.
So Odia speaking people were staying in different parts in different provinces of India.
Yes.
So they established Utkala Sammelani. Utkala Sammelani nata kaibo. Utkala Sammelani the pioneer was Madhusudan Das. Kula Bruddha Madhusudan Das. Utkala Gaurava tanku kuha jaye. Man rakhe. Pachari. Utkala Gaurava Madhusudan Das. Ebon semane they unified Odisha. So when was Odisha became a state? Aguru Odisha boli kisi state nathila. Before that, नो स्टेट कॉल्ड ओडिशा आगु कलिंग थिला तोसाल कोन तोसाली किंगडम थिला और सब विभिन्न प्रकार थिला कलिंग कंगद सब थिला किंतु ओडिशा बोली किछि नथिला तो ओडिशा बोली प्रथम दिया हला केबे ना 1 अप्रैल 1936 एवं सेही ओडिशा को यूनिफाई करिया पई ओडिशा क्रिएट करिया पई ओडिशा आगु थिला का अंडर रे बिहार अंडर रे थिला ता पूर्व बेंगल रे थिला बेंगल प्रेसिडेंसी अंडर रे थिला ओडिशा रे किछि पास मद्रास प्रेसिडेंसी रे थिला सो ही इज वन ऑफ द पायोनियर्स along with Parala Maharaja Krishna Chandra Gajapati and many others. Even Gopabandhu Das also contributed something. So they all unified together. Ramachandra Mardaraj of Kalikot, then Sri Ramchandra Bhanjadev of Mayurbhanj. So they all fought through Utkala Sammilani to establish a new separate state called Odisha. And Odisha is the first linguistic state in India. First linguistic state means first state formed on the basis of speaking language. Okay, language based state. Gala. Tome PSIR mate kahilo what is the difference between delegated legislation and legislation as such? Law and delegated legislation. Legislation and delegated legislation.
So legislation is
by legislature.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So delegated legislation is by legislation or legislature or somebody else does it.
No, sir. Delegated legislation when that is delegated to some other person.
Delegated to whom? Delegated to another legislature.
Yes.
No? Another legislature or to the executive?
Executive method. Yes. Executive.
To the executive.
Yes.
No. Delegated legislation is delegated to the executive.
Yes.
So executive will frame the law subject to ratification by the legislature subsequently.
Yes.
So the power of legislation is that of the legislature basically.
Yes.
But under certain circumstances, in the executive also can legislate.
Yes.
But that should be specifically delegated to them by the legislature.
Correct.
That is the legislature. Achha, you tell me, how many fundamental rights are there in India? Fundamental rights केतटा अछि गोटा जोड़े को जदि गणी न परछ
Right to equality.
Right to equality
14 to 18 is covered under Article 14 to 18.
ठीक है, right to equality. Then
right to freedom.
Right to freedom.
Yes. Then freedom of religion.
Right to freedom of religion.
Then right against exploitation.
Right against exploitation. Correct.
Then free religious and cultural practices are covered under 29 and 30.
What is that?
So right against right to practice cultures.
Right to practice any religion and
yes,
also.
Yes.
Okay, ठीक है. Right to religion you have told already. Okay.
Right
then
to constitutional remedies.
Right to constitutional remedies. Very good.
32.
Last one. What is that?
The last one is 35. Article 35.
What is that?
Only Parliament can make. Only Parliament can amend the constitution.
Abolition of untouchability.
So that is covered under right to equality.
You just check off abolition of untouchability is also covered in fundamental rights.
Yes,
there are
sir.
6 types of fundamental rights guaranteed by the constitution. How many rights are there? How many types of rights are there?
So one is fundamental right.
One is fundamental right.
One is legal right.
Legal right.
One would be constitutional right.
Constitution. What is the difference between constitutional right and fundamental right?
So fundamental right is guaranteed by the constitution to the people and the
even constitutional rights are guaranteed by constitution
yes,
also.
But in case of fundamental right, the aggrieved person can directly move to the Supreme Court.
Right.
But for constitutional right, he will start with the lower judiciary only.
Okay, correct. So what is legal right?
Legal rights by and large similar to the constitution only, but it is not
legal right by constitution.
No, sir. No. It is not explicitly mentioned in the constitution.
It is not mentioned in the constitution. Yes. So this right is given by whom? By which authority? Constitution no. Tale ki taku se authority se right taku ki diye? Who gives that right?
By other provisions such as
by other laws.
Yes.
Other law jo achi taro abolition of untouchability. That gives right to a untouchable person that taku ki कहे से कथा ताको गाली दिए बा तार जाति आक्षेप करी कोई he can move. So he has a right to approach the judiciary if somebody cast aspersion on his caste.
Yes, sir.
Okay, or untouchability, or somebody despises him because telling that he is untouchable.
Yes.
So this is a right, but given by law.
Yes.
Okay, so fundamental rights are guaranteed by the constitution, and for enforcement of those rights you can directly move the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Then constitutional rights are other rights not provided in part 3 of the constitution elsewhere. Okay, like right to vote is a fundamental right or not?
No, sir. It is
No. So right to vote is a constitutional right.
Yes.
By which article of the constitution? Right to vote.
article.
The political science